Hello and welcome. My name is Stephen Greider, and I'm here to teach you everything that I know about Ethereum. In this first video, we're going to talk about how this course is organized. This is a very long course, so I want you to have a good idea of how it is structured. The course is divided into roughly 4 separate sections. Now there's a couple of other sections in here that are just kind of smaller offshoots. In general, there's 4 big parts that are going on. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the introduction. In the introduction, I'm going to give you the fundamentals of Ethereum and blockchains. And inside of here, you're going to get a good idea of how Ethereum works and why we care about it at all. We'll then immediately dive into creating our first working application using Ethereum. In this first application, we're going to learn how to interact with Ethereum as developers. We'll then move on to our second application. The second application is going to be significantly more complicated. And in this one, we're going to learn a lot about tooling, deployment, and testing of applications that are built with Ethereum. And then, of course, we'll move on to the last application. You can view the first 3 sections here, so the introduction, app 1, and app 2, as essentially being just preparation for app number 3. So app number 3 is where all the really fun stuff comes out to play. So I'm really hoping that even though this is a long course, I really hope that you can get all the way to this last app over here, because I think you are going to be really excited with how complex and how deep an application you and I are going to build on app number 3 over here. Okay, so that's just a very quick overview. Now there's a couple of other notes I want to give you very quickly. The goal of this course is to teach you how to build web apps with Ethereum. That is the goal. So there are going to be some topics that we don't quite brush on quite so deeply as you might wish. In particular, we're not going to talk a lot about, say, trading cryptocurrencies. So this is not a course that's going to teach you how to invest in Ethereum or how to trade Ethereum coins with Bitcoin or anything like that. The goal of the course is to build web apps with Ethereum. Likewise, we're not going to go super deep into some of the academic side of Ethereum. So Ethereum is a very complicated subject, and there's a lot of very complex, very high-level computer science discussions to be had. We're going to kind of abridge some of those discussions. I'm going to give you a very good idea of the fundamentals of Ethereum, but we're just not going to go quite so deep onto the very academic side of things. Because again, I'm going to try my best to impart practical knowledge about how to work with Ethereum on you. So the entire idea here is, how do we build apps with Ethereum? How do we make a product? That's what we're going to focus on. Now, one last topic. How do you get help? So there's 2 great ways to get help in this course. First off, you can always post on the Udemy discussion boards. Secondly, if you have a more urgent issue, you should always feel free to private message me directly on Udemy. Do be aware that I usually work during North American business hours, and usually I only work around like Monday to Friday or so, although occasionally I do check my private messages on weekends as well. So if you ever get stuck, I recommend posting on the discussion boards, and then failing that, send me a message directly. Okay, so that's just a little introduction into this course. Let's continue in the next video and start working on some Ethereum stuff.